Yo.
All right.
Let's say 6 feet, right? So how many yards is that? Two. So then how many meters is that?
What's happening, family? I want to say, can y'all see me? Okay, oh shit, we go with this again. I want to say what's happening to everybody checking it out. Once again, we back here with Professional Dad 24/7, um, a live, um, a live viewing with some good fathers, some good guys. You know what I'm saying, that do their thing when it comes to fatherhood. Um, if you are new to this channel and not familiar for what we do, this is a platform for fathers to be able to just talk about some of the things that we got going on, share our experiences, and in hopes that you could take away something from this conversation that can make you a better father. You know what I'm saying, and doing your part for raising some productive little individuals in life, right? So that would be my introduction to the day. Right today, we got the new hen dog who he's a regular, but we got this guy, Mr. D Dudley. I don't like to say a whole name and all that, but they got the brother Dudley out with us today, and he's one of the new persons that's came on and blessed us with his time, because time is money. Time is money, but he blessed us with his time to be able to talk about some things tonight. How you doing, brother D?
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? I'm glad to be here. Glad to finally catch some time to jump on here, man, because you've been on my line for the past, what, 6, 8 months now?
Yes, sir.
So I'm here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, how you doing out there, Hen? How you doing, Hen?
Man, I'm trying to stay out of jail, baby. I'm trying to stay out of jail. You,
Damn.
you know, no, man. You already know how I go.
Hey, we got to definitely do that. We got to be there to do our part. Hey, so we're going to jump right into this thing, man. D, since you knew, I always like to ask first timers, when you hear Professional Dad 24/7, what does that make you think about?
Hmm. Honestly, kind of When I hear professional and dad in the same sentence, that's kind of sounds like it's two jobs right there. You know, being a professional, being the breadwinner, being able to pay the bills or whatnot, and also be a dad to should be a role model. You know what I mean? And be a person that your kids or whatnot, or your nieces, your nephews, it don't really matter, is actually can look up to you. So when they see you, they see a person that actually works his ass off and a person they actually can come to when they got questions. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. All right. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Anything on y'all mind before I throw out a little topic that I want to touch bases on in fatherhood for y'all today? Because every day is a struggle. Every day, whether or not we waking up in the morning to go do what we got to do, handling our business at the forefront, coming back home, making it safely, but dealing with the home front, with the relations and all that. Are y'all good? Anything y'all had on y'all mind that y'all wanted to just, hey, let me speak on this real quick.
Hmm. I don't know. I ain't really got nothing right now at this moment, but I'm sure once we get start talking, it'll come up.
Absolutely, absolutely. What about you,
I
brother?
want to speak on something, man. Oh man, I want to speak on something, man. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't want you. I don't want you having no accident. But go ahead, I can hear you.
I'm good off of that, but my whole thing is, man, I want to speak on divorce. Anybody that's through a divorced woman, man, I really need y'all not to make it so difficult with her. It affects the kids. It affects uh, the other party. So, like, try to make it as simple as possible, right? Like my situation, I'm about to close on selling my building in like 2 weeks. So I got to move out, right? So I'm saying now she's going to try to make it where we don't take the money. We got to talk about it and all that. But like all of this drama, we need to stop with all this drama stuff, man, and understand that it's way more bigger than emotions. You know what I'm saying? My son is a 4. He was crying because he don't see his dad. You know what I'm saying? He don't get to see me as much as possible. No offense to any women, but ain't no boy gonna really learn nothing from no woman. I'm gonna be honest with you, as much as they can from their own father or from a father figure. And I feel like back in the day,
I might be losing this.
Yeah, you break it up on us, brother. You touching on something, and I know I hear the passion in your voice, but we want to hear you clearly. That's some fire. Hey, that's some fire coming out of there, ain't it?
Exactly. Yep.
That's some fire coming out of there.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You back on track.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. You back.
So what I'm saying is they have to understand that the newer generations have been in a one-parent household for so long until women have forgotten how important a father figure is to a child. And then they feel like, oh, you can do it. No, you can't do it. That's why God made man and woman, is for us to have in influence and be able to impart something into the child. But like I'm a big believer in the boy is going to learn more from his father because the woman is doing womanly things. If a boy be around a woman for so long, he going to start doing womanly things. That's all he see. Unless the mother try to be the man or try to teach him manly things, which is still backwards. A lot of women do it, and that's appreciated. But what I'm saying is, when there is a father, we need to appreciate that and then kind of be like, you know what? I'm gonna let him go ahead with his dad instead of all this emotional stuff and you want problems and you want to make stuff all difficult. Because mind you, the children are the future. So you messing your future up. Like, because our kids and the younger generations is one day gonna protect us. They the ones that's gonna make the world better. But they ain't gonna make the world better because they're gonna be all screwed up. You know what I'm saying? So anybody, man, going through a divorce and stuff, try to make it as simple as possible, dude. Don't be trying to prolong it and then just make stuff all difficult and you want this and you want let it go. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got kids, 'cause it ain't helping them out. You know what I'm saying? No. That's I'm so tired, man, with people doing that. I'm gonna say people, but in my case, I'm gonna say a woman, right? Because I'm married to a woman, but it gets so frustrating to where you try to make stuff simple and then they be like, no, I don't want it simple. It can tear you down, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I always say when people ask me how you doing and all that, I'm just trying to stay out of jail because what people don't understand is this stuff is very heavy on you mentally. When you're trying to be a father, when you're doing everything else in life, man, that's what people don't understand. And then we see sometimes the outcomes where people murder people or do different things, and people be like, oh, he's a murderer. But what led up to this point? You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that. Because you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man.
Absolutely. V, you got a comment? You wanna if any suggestions or help or words of encouragement that you can get his brother what he putting out there, you want to throw it out there?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I definitely care for the man, and I can tell in his voice, I can tell in his demeanor, like he's really going through something. Like, so this is real for him, right? And I've seen a post on Instagram the other day that kind of made it I don't know, eye opening, but it's like, can we make seeing a counselor normal for Black people? You know what I mean? So I don't know, Hen, if you've seen a counselor, but for me, for the first time, you know, he knows my situation with my wife. I had to go see a counselor, and it was the best thing I ever could do, just because I was able to talk to somebody that had no idea of the situation I was in, and it allowed me just to let it all out, just have diarrhea at the mouth. This person, you know, obviously they look expensive, but it's like you're just talking, you know what I mean, and they're listening, and they're giving their point of view of how to help you, not how to help her, not how to help, you know, her get whatever she wants, but how to help you get out of that situation. So my advice to you, I'm not sure if you already done it, but definitely try to seek some counseling. And if anything, if you need anything, you know, I'm always here for you. I'm sure Spunky gonna be there for you. Just, you know what I mean? Absolutely. Like you said, when I hear you say get out of jail, that means a lot to me, because I don't want you to go to jail. I want you to be out here getting on these bitches. No.
Wait. You know we love. Hey, we authentic and raw, so you good. You good.
My wife been not looking at this, man. That's not how we act.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, you know, I think, you know, it's not too much that I would add to that, because that's a lot, man. You know, I haven't experienced that, but I am an advocate of, you know, getting some counseling, right? For me, this is therapy from the things that I've gone through and trying to be a better person. This is therapy for me. So absolutely, I am a strong advocate of seeking some type of consultation that you can find out about you, not the other person, what you can do for your situation. Because at the end of the day, you know, my lady told me, she said, when one person, and again, let me make this disclaimer. We're not here to bash women, right? The situation can go both ways. The man could be raggedy, rude, disrespectful, just as well as the woman could be, right? So my point is that whoever it is, fix it, right? But when I was told that, you know, when somebody is not done, right, they're emotionally attached to it, then the chaos is still there because they can't see past what they want, right? When you're complete, done with something, you can wash your hands and walk away from the shit. And again, and to when she told me that, it made a lot of sense on some of the emotional responses that some people have when something is at an end. You know what I'm saying? If it's over, it's over, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I would just say again, piggyback on what Daryl say, seek some counseling. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the long-term effects that's gonna have on the kids. That's the unknown, right? But what it can do for you as far as keeping you ass out of jail, you know what I'm saying? But keeping you sane at a sense to where it keeps you in perspective of you still got to do and be the best father for your kids now and not
Mhm.
from a distance. So that's what I would throw out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything you want to come back with on that end, or are you good?
Um, I mean that's doable and all of that, right? But now I will say this, I work for a company that has EAP, right? But if I didn't, I'm paying her so much money a month, and like money is everything. So if you can't even afford that, right, then it's kind of like we're talking from a different perspective. There's people out there to where counseling is not readily available like that because of money, right?
Right.
So um, I kind of speak on that aspect of it because I can talk to a counselor, right? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I haven't because of COVID and stuff, and I don't like doing things virtually and all that. But so I kind of wanted to go and talk to her. For the people that can't that don't have that option, then it's like that's so
Right.
I'm saying.
Mhm.
Well, and let me jump in on that too, because I think again, this is a platform where we bring this type of stuff out. I also want to allow people, if they don't know, to at least attempt to find out. Our phones is a damn computer, right?
Mhm.
So you got local things in your community, whether or not it's a community-based organization, whether or not it's community colleges, you know what I'm saying? The entrepreneur places, those things like that, where you can go ask, right? Or you can just type it in, consultation, father needs, whatever, and see what comes up, right? The more and more we do this type of show and what this platform is created for, eventually we'll have people wanting to come on here and give those resources out, right? That's the hidden agenda that I have in this. I want people to come on there, talk about some of the things that they do, because we need resources and there's limited resources to a lot of people that's out there. Of course, if you got a job, things come with your job. But like you said here, this is not always accessible when you don't have a job or you don't have that support like a lot of people don't have, right? And then they just go off the Richter. So absolutely, man, just Google it. And in the future, I'm gonna hold myself accountable of getting some people on here who are well versed in that to be able to actually give out some resources on what you can do. You know what I mean? This on the air, so it's in the universe, right? So absolutely. What I wanted to, I wanted to bring out today, I wanted to talk about intimacy, right? And I want to be very clear that I'm not talking about the intimacy part sexually, right? We're fathers, right? So the aspect of intimacy, I mean, we can have hella episodes on intimacy, right? But the emotional intimacy that we have with our kids, how do we display that, right? And how do we display that? And what is an example of an emotional intimacy with your kids?
Hmm. Good question. Um.
So emotional intimacy.
Right. So again, I'll start it off. Right. I was talking to one of my guys today, man, and I was telling him what was on my mind about intimacy, right? And You know, I did some research along with what he was telling me, right? So I looked up like four elements of intimacy. There's several more, but there's emotion, there's spiritual, there's mental, and there's physical, right? And as we were talking about the emotional part, right? Let's say, let's say from my perspective with my son, right? We playing baseball. He about 6 years old. I throw the ball. You know, I'm teaching him how to do grounders, and he like, you know, he trying, but boop, it had a nice skip, popped him in the eye, and he crying about it. I'm like, suck it up. You're gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be all right. It's gonna happen, but at the end of the day, you're gonna know how to get that ground ball the next time. You know what I'm saying? And again, the reason why I use that example is because our presence is everything, right? And that part, that's a stain if not taken care of, if not nurtured right by a father, could go wrong. And what I mean by it could go wrong, if I'm not there to explain to him, like, hey, this stuff happens, right? You make mistakes, you're gonna get a bump, you got a big old ass black eye, but it's gonna heal, homie. It's gonna heal, but that shouldn't stop you from learning and being better at it, right? So emotionally, he's like, I got the support of my dad if I start crying about something. Not that he's gonna be like, stop crying, you a man. Fuck all that. I understand it hurts, but that's only temporary, right? Now let's move on and let's try to get it, right? He ended up becoming a good baseball player in Little League. But at this point, now in this stage in life, 19, he don't want to play baseball. You know what I'm saying? But the emotional side of that is I was there to address it and to get him through it. How do y'all, what are examples of y'all and what y'all deal with y'all kids when it comes to that emotional side?
So my son, he, he's super wide. He always jumping off of something. He always getting scratches and bumps and all that. And I should tell him a lot because when he would get it, right? He was, this is why having a father is so important, right? So he used to get like scrapes and bumps and stuff, and he had started doing what his sister did, which was, oh, I got an ouchie, I got a scratch, I got a this. And I told him, listen to me, that's a battle wound. Having battle wounds is showing the other kids that you got that life. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You raising the soldier right up. I like how you put it though.
So I had to flip it on him. I said, showing other kids that you gonna jump off of something that you don't have any fear, right? So then now, when he come up to me, he be like, Dad, look, I got a battle wound. Look. I got an ouchie. Ow. Oh my God. I can't have you walking around doing that.
Right,
You know
right.
That's the emotional part of it. But like you say, though, the teaching aspect of it, that intimate conversation that I had with him, and he's going to listen because he's somebody who I trust, who he trusts in.
Right.
That's
So, so let me ask you this too, Hen. How is that with your daughter?
So with my daughter, right? I'll fix it up, but so like she likes the Band-Aids and the Minnie Mouse Band-Aids and me to rub it and kiss it and all of that, right? But after I do that, I let it will. So don't be so dramatic about the situation because it will heal. She's like, oh my God, look, the blood will stop. It will heal. Like I told her, just like everything in life, things take time. Right? So, for both of them, I have a different strategy on stuff. But since she's a girl, you know, I let her have a little more leeway with the crying because for a girl, I don't want to take the emotional aspect away from her. Because for girls, they need that, right? And they need that emotional support. So when they get older, then they know what to look for when they look for a mate. It's somebody who would give them support
Yeah.
when they're emotional and can kind of like guide them. You know what I'm saying? So like on some, so like once my son he fell on his head, right? Like he jumped off of this high like tree and he fell, but it was in the grass. Even I was like, oh shit.
Hey, wait. Pause. What Hen is not telling y'all, even though his son is what? How old is he? 6?
Yeah.
4.
He 4. He about 5 feet.
He a big boy.
Yeah, tall dude.
Yeah.
We go ahead. Chris just got on. What's up, good Chris? Good brother Chris.
When
He probably get it together. That's all good. We got you, brother. Go.
so when he fell on his head, he had started crying. It looked like it had hurt it, right? So for a second, I was like, "Oh shit!" Right? And and I let him cry like a little bit because you don't want to zap away from all of his emotions either. He just shouldn't be as emotional as a woman, but everybody should have emotions, right? So it's a balance. It's way more of a balance for him because he's a boy. But I don't want people to think boys shouldn't have emotions because they should. Everybody should be able to cry at certain points in their life or have emotions about stuff. So I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is he needs to learn how to control his emotions off of a scrape, off of a scratch, off of a fall, or off of certain things that are like not that there's now. He don't cry. He always be like, I'm okay. I'm okay. And for him to be 4, he a tough dude now. You know what I'm saying? But it took time for me to instill that in him because, mind you, all he got to look at is his sister, right?
Mhm.
It's like me, I'm always do what your sister do, right? Because he kind of be like a follower.
Right.
So it's like a lot of training, but now if you put the work in, your 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 uh your timing will the time that you put in, it'll come out right later on, and that's something that I can say that he does now is that he don't really cry. He'll
Absolutely.
cry, and it's like I would cry like about 2, right? But
How is that for you, D? We'll fill you right in, Chris, as a brother. Well, let me introduce Chris. This is brother D. Dudley. That's brother Chris.
All pleasures, brother Dudley.
All right, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yes,
It's
sir.
on you, Dudley. So, what's your take when it comes to that?
All right. So what I can think about, so I got a stepdaughter, right? I don't have any kids, but I got a stepdaughter through marriage. She's 9.
Bonus kid. You got a bonus kid, brother.
I got a bonus. Yeah, I got a
There you
bonus kid,
go.
right?
I got 3 of them.
So just a just a quick background, like she don't see her dad for like 4 days out the month, and he ain't shit. I tell it straight to his face, he ain't shit. So now I'm the father figure, right? So I think of a story like, all right, just past 4th of July, I took my wife, my daughter down to Pismo Beach and to ride the ATVs, right? So of course any female is gonna or any girl is gonna be like nervous, right? And so I kind of, on the way there, it's like a 4-hour drive. On the way there, I was just kept letting her know, like, hey, look, we're about to get in this sand. You about to ride this ATV. You already ride the little motorbike out here, but it's a little different. Right. So we finally come down to it. It's early in the morning. We jump on the ATVs and they gave her like an old one. We like, we rented it. So they gave her like an old one, wouldn't stay running and stuff. But she knew from me working on cars with her next to me, she knew what to do. And I just sat back. Like I had a proud dad moment because I sat back and the guy who was like, teaching her how to use it, she was like, I know, I got this. And so she'll start it. She'll let it run a little bit because it's so old. It's like an old carburetor. So she let it run a little bit, give it a little bit of gas. Wait a second. All right, it's warmed up. I can go. So she did. I was like, hey, no, wait a minute. That's how. Okay, cool. So then, all right. So I'm happy. And we riding around, and then we finally get into the dunes. And the dunes, like, if you ever rode in the sand, it's kind of, it's hills, right? It's like these steep hills. It's real scary. And so I was just like, look, follow me, follow my tracks and whatnot. So we got to a hill and I was like, we got to go down. And she's like, no, I want to go to the left. I'm like, but it's a hill. Either way, it's going to be a hill. And so it kind of took me to kind of get off my ATV, walk over to her and just have like a little moment like, look, that hill ain't nothing. That hill is, you need to conquer this hill. Because once you conquer this hill, you're going to conquer anything else in life. And she was like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, look, that hill is an object. All you really need to do is get up to that edge. You see your destination at the bottom and you go for it. And she was like, but I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm like, all right, watch. I'm going to go down so that way you can see that I do it and just follow my tracks. So I went down and I see her up there at the top. She's like nervous. I'm like, let me go back up. So I go back up. And I was like, see, look, it's not that bad. She's like, but I'm so scared. I don't know what to do. I'm like, so I lightweight said, and pushed her. So, you know what I mean? So she had this extreme way. But by the time she got to the bottom, she was like, that was nothing. Like, I was scared for that. Like, yes, you were scared for this little old hill that you thought was as big as it was. But the moment you did it, the moment you got to the bottom, she was like, oh, I got this now. Until she almost fell. But other than that, but I was like, I think that was like my intimate moment with her. Like, hey, look, trying to big up her self-esteem in a sense of like, you can do this.
Definitely. So. That's dope, man. That's dope. I like that. I like that. Chris, what we talking about is intimacy, right? There's 4 elements of intimacy that I had talked about. Nothing regarding sexual. The intimacy that we're speaking on right now is the emotional intimacy that we have with our kids, right? And that's what you're hearing us talk about right now. So is there anything you can share on the emotional side of that with your kids that you know what I'm saying, you got a moment? I know you got hell of the moments. But how does it relate to you in fatherhood when it comes to that portion?
Well, we got this man thing going, right? We got this kind of like, don't cry, but I understand you kind of need to cry. It kind of mattered how much we cried when we were kids, all that whole breakdown, right? And so, like I got the 5-year-old, 11-year-old, 22-year-old. So with the 5-year-old, I'm gonna use him for example. He may come, fall, hurt himself, come up to me crying. I look at it. I'm gonna give you a kiss, give you a hug, pat you on the butt, and say, keep going. And 9 times out of 10, he usually goes, right? So, the emotional part of it is just, I guess, then we also have to kind of read that climate of what just happened, right? Because sometimes you may overexert yourself saying, oh, don't worry about it, it's nothing, when it may be something, right? And then of course, if you're in front of people, it's like, okay, how do you kind of handle it in that scenario, right? But if you are who you are, you're gonna do it the way you do it. I'll give you a perfect example. What was it? We'll see on Monday, as my wife is sitting here listening, trying to figure out what the hell I'm about to say next, right? So my boy, so we have my older son, my 11-year-old baseball practice, and he's sitting in a chair on top of this ledge, which is probably about 4 feet up. And it's like in the dirt, but it's like at a slant, right? And so he's sitting there and he's on the phone. And so I look over and I say, damn, he gonna keep moving. Now you keep adjusting and moving. I'm like, he about to fall. And lo and behold, 2 seconds later, whoa, he go face first, right? And so, but he braced himself. He braced himself from bopping his face onto the concrete. So I didn't see that happen. Hit his face. So I didn't panic, right? So I'm looking over now. Granted, no pun and nothing against it, but it's a whole group of white people, right? And so it's like, okay, well, I'm about to be me, you know, and so they're kind of like, oh, Chris, and I'm looking, and he's probably 8 feet away from me. I probably took 2 steps, maybe 5 steps toward him, and I just watched it. You know, he didn't get up crying. He didn't get up with the leg hopping, and he came over to me, and I said, hey, man, you stay moving in the chair like that, and it's on that hill like that, that's the results. And he just looked at me, and he went on about his business. So I don't know if it's kind of the man thing. You try to help the child understand that some of your emotions, some of them may be a little exaggerated, kind of like what my guy, what's your name again, brother?
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl was saying, yeah, Dudley, yeah, about his bonus child, right? Oh, hey, don't worry, it's not that bad. All right, look here, I'll show you. Here you go, right? Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, that wasn't that bad. Oh yeah, so yeah, so you on the right track, bro. When they say professional dads, because I would have did it too. I don't know about Spunk, I don't know about hen dog. I would have did that. Okay, don't worry. You know, and I've been on them dunes, and them dunes is crazy. And we were stuck upside down, everybody crying. I'm look here. Hey, look, I'm about 30 seconds away from it just because they crying. I'm like, and we stuck. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. And I just put it in reverse. Or somebody said put it in reverse. I put it in reverse. And so it was good, you know, because you like hella miles away from the damn and stuff. So, but anyway, yes, sir.
Absolutely. I want to, because I want people to we are definitely touching bases on that moment when something happens, right? And I want to give an example of something a little subtle, right? And we still on the emotional aspect of it, right? And to the regards of like my son, 19, and my bonus kids, they all above 18 above, right? And when it comes to cooking, I like to cook, right? And I noticed, like with my son, when he here, it's like, bro, I ain't cooking nothing. You cooking something, right? But what I noticed when he when he feeling himself, he'll say, "Yeah, Dad, taste that, right?" I ain't told him nothing about I don't told him about seasoning and all that, but I got so many herbs and spices, he gonna use something, right? And some of the stuff has been good, some of the shit has been like, and I don't want to bust his bubble, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to emotionally hurt him and be like, man, that shit right there, but I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? I'm very honest. I ain't gonna lie to these kids, right? But when it's bad, I say it ain't nothing like that spunky sauce, right? When it's good, I say that's some good shit. He ain't caught on to me it being bad and me saying the spunky sauce is better. So you know what I'm saying? But in that sense, even when it comes to cooking or your kids eating something, because you don't want to serve your kids nothing too hot, something that's gonna hurt their stomach or things like that, right? And I use that example because it's a few ways in which I think fathers, it's obvious we show. Let's say your son or your daughter, if he play football and he done scored a 60-yard touchdown, you jumping out. I don't care who you around, you jumping out like that's my dog, right? And if it's your daughter who she just did a volleyball, she hit that damn thing so hard, knocked the girl out. Oh, that's you. I mean, you might want to be like, wait till she get up, but that excitement You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm using these examples because, you know, when your kid understands or feel that emotional connection with you, that's a trust, that's a bond, right? That they can feel like this person got my back, right? And I think that right there, those moments are the most gratifying moments for me, I could say, and I'm quite sure for y'all, when it comes to, that's a memory that they'll never forget. Never forget. Anybody want to interject on that?
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, that is a memory that they can look back on and be like, you remember that moment? They'll bring it up. You know what I mean? That's the same thing my daughter does. She'll bring up something that we did a while ago, just out the blue. And it's like, damn, you know, I guess you got a good memory. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So for the fathers who don't, I mean, because you can't have those type of fathers that, you know, they only around when it comes to sports, right? But those emotional connections can be made outside of this sports, outside of sports. Leading by example for one, you know what I'm saying, and being able to, you know what I'm saying, give an understanding of what you do and how you communicate to the kids on what you're doing, right? Those things right there plays into the psyche so that, you know what I'm saying, they understand, they know, and I just think that's very important that we I wanted to touch on this topic because, you know, it ain't so male macho to be emotionally connected to your kid like that, right? And some people may when they hear the word intimacy, they may be thinking only the one thing about it, right? But that closeness, what you have, and when it comes to emotional, you gotta have that attachment to your kid, because if you don't, they will seek that from somewhere else. Right. And what we don't want is them seeking that from the wrong person for them to end up doing the wrong things. We see that time after time. A lot of these kids are misguided because they don't have no emotional connection with anybody who that they trust. They can feel like, okay, if I fall, somebody is there to catch me, right? Somebody is there to nurture me. Somebody, you know what I'm saying? And it's us as fathers who have to be there to be able to say, I got you. I got you.
I think, you know, what you saying that, I wonder if there's a connection on why people like myself have children at young ages.
No, you was just hot and horny, bro. You was hot and horny.
I mean, that's a given. But I'm saying, right, of not having that emotional attach, especially from where you wanted to get it from, right? Because I got it from my grandmother, right, and my grandfather, but then at the same time, I was seeking it from my mom and dad, you know, and it makes me wonder, because I kind of believe that. I believe that since, you know, my older son had his mother and his father, you know, he somehow was able and to get the emotional, the hugs, the love, the support, you know, all the way through, that he didn't get caught up in the whole major girl loop. You know what I mean? Where it's slowing you down. I'm madly in love at 16 and I'm flashing on my family, you know, and I'm getting in hella trouble just randomly simply because I got this girlfriend, because I don't have the emotional attachment that I was looking for. You know what I mean? And I've always kind of connected that, and I believe if us as parents, just like yourself, Daryl, you know, setting up the 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 memories. That's like our job. You know, that's our job, to set up memories. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was at this 70th birthday party, and a mother was mad as hell because her child didn't take a graduation picture, right? And he graduated on the whole little what do you call it, Zoom or whatever, however the hell he graduated, right? And he didn't take a picture. He didn't take that cap and gown picture. So she's furious, right? This whole discussion going on. She's mad as hell, right? And but previously, 2 years ago or prior, right? He was on the borderline of not even graduating, right? So he's upped his game to graduating and saying, hey, man, I don't really care about the picture. I graduated.
Here, yeah.
Right? Because you was gonna have to tell somebody my son didn't graduate. And we know that hurt from the bottom of the soul. I don't care what nobody say, right? And so you tripping off of a picture, and I say all that to say, but the memory is there that the boy didn't have to go to continuation school, he didn't have to go to night school, and you have that memory in your brain. So whether you took a picture or not, you have that memory, and it is our jobs to create those memories, So
Right.
yeah.
How old? So let me ask, like, how old was the well, I guess was the mom? Was the mom younger? Was the mom older?
Late 30s.
30s. All right. Well, the reason why I asked is I just feel like, this
somewhere up in there.
generation that we're in now is like everything has to be photographed to in order to have that memory.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because everything is either posted or everything is either put on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the other stuff. So it's like I feel like I think, well, I'm just maybe I might be assuming, but for that parents should be one proud, right? We all know that. Proud as heck. But I think having that photo would have made that mom prouder because now she can put that in her cubicle. Now she can put that. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think she couldn't explain that, but she was trying, but she was getting all emotional, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I took both. I totally understood what she was saying. I totally understood. It was like, and then I looked at him, I'm like, dude, just take the goddamn picture. Just take the picture, let her move on with her life. You move on with yours.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do this shit no more. She gonna ride this out for hella long. You know what I mean? You can just take the picture and she's a happy camper. You're a happy camper. It's all good. It's just a picture. And it really is, like you said, cubicle. That was it right there, right?
Yeah,
exactly. She acted like she didn't want to post it. You know you want to post it.
Oh, yeah.
Who the hell don't want to post that in this day and age? So yeah.
So let me wait. Was you finishing your point, Dudley?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I was just questioning and I was just curious about it, because I see it all the time.
Right.
And we all see the timeline. I'm like, damn, your kid was that old? Like, you know what I mean? Like, damn, what you ain't posted nothing about your kid for the past 10 years I've known you, and all of a sudden you got a kid that's graduating. Like, what the heck?
And why I asked that, because you made me think, right? One thing I'm thinking of is, at what point, in comparison to the mom who wanted the validation, right? But in comparison myself, where was the emotional intimacy for me as a kid, right? And just with that story, right? Just with that example, right? I can understand in a sense, because when we were younger, what did your mama do? I know my mom, I had an afro and my face was greasy as hell. I didn't want none of that goddamn grease on my face. But for some reason, it was her validation to say, my baby's shining or shit. I'm like, get all this goddamn grease on me. I feel like a Vaseline bottle in this motherfucker. But you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there thinking, like, as hard as my mom was, because, I grew up without my father being killed when I was in the womb, right? I am a product of my father, not some other sperm. He just died before I came out. Let me say that right? But it's like, even though, cause I had a homeboy who say, man, you cats from up there where you was raised at, you cats was just angry, right? And I kind of think about all this stuff, like, I'm like, it wasn't no intimate moments. It wasn't nobody emotionally attached to me, or that I with my other than my mom, right? And some of that I was like, back up, right? So there was no father figure for me like that. I didn't see a father figure for me like that. Yeah, I didn't have my daddy. Ain't nobody gonna be me, my daddy. I don't give a hell who it is, right? So that kind of, I'm just sitting here thinking about, that could have been why I was so angry. Like, motherfucker needed a hug or something, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's me. So what about for y'all? Where was the emotional attachment or the emotional trust, if you will, that y'all saw in y'all father, or the father figure that y'all had? Where was that at?
Well, I'll first say, like, actually, what it was really funny. Well, I wouldn't say funny. It's just coincidence. Like today is the 2 year. Today is when 2 years ago my dad passed today, right? And I didn't. I woke up this morning at I think it was 2:12, right? And I was like, what the heck am I waking up 2:12? I got a few more hours or whatnot. Cool, I'm gonna go back to sleep. My uncle calls today, and he was like, hey, you know what? I woke up today at 2:06, and you know what 2:06 stands for? I'm like, what are you talking about, Unc? He was like, that's the time your dad passed away. And so
Wow.
I woke up, and mind you, this uncle, if you ever was to meet him, he's like the biggest dude I ever known, like buff wise. He was the scariest dude I ever known. You know what I mean? Ex-cop, ex-military, all this stuff, hella scary. But for him to call me today and sound hella emotional, I was just like, wait, what are you trying to say, Unc? He was like, I'm trying to tell you, like, he was saying that he's never been able to show his emotion to any other man until now, and he's 70. And he
Wow.
was like, I just want you and my brother to be the only two men to know that I woke up this morning, I was emotional, and that I need you to know that I'm here for y'all. And I was like, wait, what? Huh? Like, I can't see that in him. But as he told me, I was like, okay, I guess this is real. You know what I mean? But as far as like having that emotion with my father, I really did it. You know, not being raised by him. I knew he was. You know, I would get a card every now and then. I wouldn't hang out with him, but I knew who he was. So it's like I was seeking that intimacy from a male's perspective, and that was like in uncles or whatnot, or the guy on the block, or you know, the D boy here, or the flashy dude with the cars and whatnot. I was looking for all that. So I mean, I don't know. It's just hard to kind of find that emotional or that intimacy from a father figure, you know, and so it's kind of hard to create that. But I'm
Right.
learning, you know, I'm
Right.
learning.
Right. Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's dope. That's dope. And it would you that now because you said that, do you think it's easier because you have a daughter versus if you have a son? You know what I mean? I mean, I know you ain't got a son, but look at your little nephews. I
Yeah.
mean, how is that? You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know. It just made me ask that question. Like, you know, I don't know. Do you
I
show
think
that? Do you show that emotional side to your nephews now? Do you do that?
no, I think I hold my nephews like kind of how Hen is. Get your butt up. That don't hurt. Go ahead. Go ahead and walk it off in a
That's that
sense.
macho shit.
Exactly.
Right.
But being raised by my mom, I kind of have a little bit more patience for my daughter.
There you
You
go.
know, I know deep down if I have a son, I ain't gonna have no patience. I'm gonna expect him to know math the moment he come out of the womb. You know what I mean? Like, man, hold on, you half Asian. You better know how to count. You know what I mean? Hell no. You feel me? You gotta go out there and build something. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
And
Definitely.
it's part of that next bridge being built up.
Right.
Like, boy, you better get out there and make me some money. Got to stop playing.
Hey, what about for you, Chris? I mean, where was and growing up for yourself, where was that for you?
I guess it was my grandfather, you know, and he was like, you know, he was like the I don't know, like the third grandfather or whatever, but he was the figure that was there, you know, and you know, he had no attachment to any
Hey,
of
wait,
the
wait, wait. You
aunts
need some tissues, right? We got him crying over there. I see
Oh,
the
you
tears
crying?
come out of
Oh,
It's okay to be emotional, brother. I love you, brother.
all
King,
right.
king.
anyway.
It's fine.
But, but you know, I mean, but he was like the Rock of Grams, right? So he didn't really care. It was like, I'll kick your ass if you talk to my wife wrong.
Mhm.
You know, so he wasn't like, oh, you know, he'd just talk to you and you know, but like hugs and all, nah, you know, he hug you, but it's like a hug with a nudge and a, you know what I mean? And then the uncle, he was manny. It was like, yeah, we'll go to the baseball game and you can come spend a night, but like sit down and talk to me like how school, what grade you in? Like, no, you can chalk that.
Right.
And then, you know, dad was toughy. And you know, I only hung out with him a couple of times, and one of the times was he bust me in the chest and then kicked me out his car, and then drove off and then came back and then sent me home on the what do you call it, on the goddamn on the Greyhound with some random person I didn't know. So Graham's never gonna let me hang with him again. So, I don't know. I when they say angry black man, I am like in that bracket. And I know it's because of what I'm explaining, because like right now, like 2 days ago, I called my uncle. I like going to baseball games, and he's kind of how it started. You can't even call and even ask him to go, because he's one, he won't answer. Two, he won't call back. And three, he will say no. Right. And he's been like a jerk like the last 15 years of my life. I'm 43. So I can't remember the last time he was like nice, or just cool. It was like back when I was like 12, 13, when I could spend the night at his house and he said, hey, you can eat whatever you want. You can watch whatever you want. Just clean up after yourself. See you later. So it was like an outlet, but you get older and you're like, damn, you kind of, I don't want to play you, but you kind of didn't have much for me, knowing that I needed something. You know what I mean? And so to say all of that, when I actually hug my children outside of the get up, let's go, like I think I do it because I know that that's what I was lacking. You know what I'm saying? I know I was lacking that. And so I will hug them. I will brace them. I'll come into the daycare freaking rolling on the floor, like straight up come in the door, roll on the floor, like, hey, playing and crawling and having them laugh and giggle and shit, because I know that was something, one, I missed. And on top of that, I mean as shit. So I got to balance it out a little bit. Right?
At least in public, you got to balance. If you're too mean in public, not
right.
So, I don't know, man. It's this daddy shit is something else, man. And we talk about this quite often, and I really don't, we've never really kind of figured out how you get treated one way, and then you have some children and not treat them the way that you did not want to be treated. If I said that right. You know what I mean? And that's always been a tough one for me, because if we just went deep, everything, all the odds was against. And now, I got 3 boys, and it's like, whatever you want, whatever you need from me, right? We talk about it all the time. Stop mistreating me, because I do right by you, period. And not mistreat me in a disrespectful way. But, if I say, hey, y'all stop playing, and I turn around and y'all still playing, and I say it again, and then you laugh, you look at each other giggling, hold on, you like, you trying to play me. You laughing at me. Now I'm disturbed. Now I'm angry, because you're not clicking the fact that I'm doing all that I can for you, so that you won't ever have the feeling, you won't even have to come nowhere near the feeling that I had, because these 2 boys, they're like happy children. You know what I mean? Like, they're happy. You can go anywhere and they will just go.
Right.
Any park, any library, they'll just go. It's not like, oh, I need to stand next to dad. You know what I mean? Like, they're open-minded. They're willing to do stuff. And I know that's from between, me and the wife, of just giving them that love, and at the same time, that toughness too. So. Right.
Well, all those things are very important. And what I think, one thing you just hit on is, at the end of the day, we want the kids to enjoy being kids, because gradually they have to go into a different stage, right? So again, this topic on the emotional side of intimacy when it comes to our kids, it's pivotal, because a lot of what we see right now, and these kids acting the way they acting, clinging on to some of this madness, continuing the bullshit that they got going on, drinking, killing, fronting, right? All that is because the lack of that they didn't have at a young age. And hold on, let me say, I'm not a therapist, I don't have a degree in this. It's just something that looks common sense to me. If you don't have this a part of an emotional attachment and trust in somebody, now you're going to trust the wrong person and you're going to do the wrong things, right? So this is important for us, but for those that are watching this to kind of consider, and if you're not balancing this type of emotion with your kids, try to learn to, because when they get older, either they're gonna resent you or they're gonna really trust you enough with being loyal enough to say, hey, look, I'm not feeling this. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. And if I could just say, because whenever we get on this, man, you always get to triggering certain spots and conversations that I have with my children. And we was talking the other day. I tell my 11-year-old, I'm like, dude, you can do whatever you're doing, do it, or I can force you, right? But if you do it and you figure out how to love it and give 100% to it, then I don't have to do that. But you're going to do it one way or another. So I gave the example of Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson, he was determined that his family was going to get out of Gary, Indiana. We're going to be rich and we're going to be superstars. Now, in return, the whole family all messed up mentally, but you got generational music that will last forever, right? Mm-hmm. But then you got the main guy, Mike. Instead of him breaking down into, I never want to do music, he found some other super duper musician, best performer damn near on the planet in himself. But then what are the repercussions of him? He turned into a Caucasian. You understand? So there are like the balance that really is needed, especially when it comes from father figures, because like Dudley, hey man, you're supposed to know this, right? And so you got to know when to say, why don't you know this? I already taught it to you 3 times, and I thought you were supposed to know it off top anyway, because you're around it or whatever the case may be. And then when do you okay, breathe, relax, because nobody wants their child to fail or be remedial or behind or any of those type of situations. So it's our jobs as fathers to figure it out, whether it's extra time, whether it's extra practice, whether it's tutoring, whatever the case may be, at 7 o'clock in the morning, But anyway, that was on my mind. Go ahead.
It's all good. It's all good. As we come into a close, what's up, D? You got any other comments, suggestions, tips, anything you want to throw out there before we get out of here?
Well, I mean, it's a good platform, first of all, man. Good job. It sucks that you took me so long to jump on this, man. There's a few things I do want to bring up, but we'll probably bring that up another day. But one of them is what is expected, from a stepdad, from your guys' point of view. You know what I mean? Because you all both have sons and whatnot. Spunk, I kind of know your ideas, and I know you got your baby mom on that side and whatnot. And how do you feel what do you expect from her dude trying to raise your son or say anything to your son? Just because, I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Because I am on the other side of the thing. I am the stepdad. I am the father figure. I am the person that my wife's daughter looks at as a father. You know what I mean? So that's something we can probably, speak about later on, what's expected from a stepdad, or what do you guys expect from a stepdad?
Hey, look, you got time? I got time, motherfucker. I got time. I'll be quick with it, but I'll be so as far as expectation.
Yeah.
I'm expected as a father to do what a father is supposed to do, right? So 2 fathers may not be on the same playing field, right? So I'm not going to as a step. I don't even like to call myself a stepdad. I kind of have issues with calling myself stepdad or anything like that. That's why I say bonus kids, right? But when it comes to, I never want to, what's the word? Intrude on a father playing a father's role. So I'm like, if you got two dads, that's a plus, right? If they both on the same playing field, right? And if you got one dad that's positive, on the right track, you got the other dad that's a little still with the shit, ain't grown up, then there's now it's a difference, because you don't want the kids to make, I don't want to make the kids feel like I'm against their dad. I ain't got no problem with it. He ain't my daddy. Feel me? But I want to be the right foot forward so that you see what a father is supposed to be. I'm not trying to overdo him. I'm not trying to play him. I'm doing what's expected of me, right? So the kids in turn will see for themselves. I'm not stepping on their toes. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And they'll gravitate to you. I mean, they'll gravitate to you if you're doing right? Again, and all this is in stages, because when you got a younger kid, right, they looking for different things, right? You know, at that age, they probably looking more emotional for that trust and that support. So if the stepdad is giving it to him like that, and the other one is like, what, you doing it just to be around the mama still, again, when somebody is not done, they always cause chaos. So if you're doing it, if the other party is doing it with the wrong intention, it's gonna come out, because you can't sustain that. Feel me? Over a period of time, the kid gonna be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Right? And the kid will be more drawn to the more positive, productive, the more supportive one, so that they be like, "Okay, wait, I got a question," and I done heard it before and just didn't say nothing. I don't know if I should ask my dad. Nah, I ask him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's validation that I'm doing what's expected of me as a father.
As a father.
Period.
Okay.
So that trumps everything. Just do what you expected of you to be as a father. Chris, you got something?
You know, I've had to deal with this scenario, but the young man would always kind of fade away. And I guess if there was one scenario that I always wanted was just, who are you? Period. I mean, who are you? You got a name? I mean, you got a job? Okay, okay. Can we talk? Can we communicate? Hey, I'm his father. If you got any problems with whatever, not on fucking fighting you, but any issues with this boy, hey, let's discuss it. Let's be men, right? So, hey, do you be you, be you on who you are. If you're a good dude, the goodness will shine. You know what I mean? And keep yourself like visible and shit. No disappearing acts. You know what I mean? Like if you there and you are taking the label as like bonus dad, stepdad, or whatever, then ride that all the way through. And that's all. That's it. That's it. Just be visible and you that guy? Okay, that's what's up. Because I live in dream world. Because I've seen stepfathers or extra dads or extra husbands come together, play cards together. You know what I mean? Drink beers together. I've seen that shit.
Yeah, I've seen that. They a little light skinned, but I've seen it.
If you go old school,
Hey, hey, I don't know about. I ain't seen no shit like that, but I heard of it. I'm just
I only seen it once. Okay, I seen it once, but they were older. They were older.
Right.
They were older, but I seen it, and it just made me trigger. Like, man, this really could happen.
Right.
If you ever had a function or a play or a dance or a music recital, right? You, in my opinion, you want all the parents and family members in one area when the kid got to come up the damn, and then the mama and the daddy over here, or the mama over here and the daddy over here, the kid got to come and figure out which way I'm going, who house I'm at this weekend.
Yeah,
That's a cold feeling, man. That's a
right.
cold feeling. And I used to always say that to my son's mother, like, dude, why you keep sitting way over there? You come in, you know I'm there first. That's just how I roll, right? But you gonna come and you gonna go sit 27 hours away from me. So now when he come up and the game is over, he don't know which way to go because he know he's supposed to come to me and he know he's supposed to go to his mama. So that's hella hard too. So, you know, even if you don't, you know, if you ain't the most fondest of the human.
Hey, I think we got to definitely talk about this next time because I'm like this. Hey, I'm just real. Sometimes if you try to, be cool, I don't know if it's insecurity, but this motherfucker trying to fuck my girl out. Fuck that. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm just real. And I know I ain't the only one that's thinking like this. So, but I hope that helped.
It helped a little bit. Helped enough, bro. There was a laugh out of it, but
Hey man, with that, man, let me say as we close, man. Again, man, I thank you, brothers, man. I appreciate your time. You know what I'm saying? And this is always helpful for me, and I'm quite sure it's helpful for other people. Well, how I end the note is never about changing the narrative of Black fathers. We out here, we exist. Some of us ain't talking loud enough. Some of us, they ain't hearing us, but I'm glad they had the opportunity to listen to you fellas tonight. I salute you fellas. Next time we'll do it again.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Dudley.